you. I saw, honestly, I'd be more with Disney owning WWE than the UFC transphobic company. But we do have a fart command. Yeah, I set up a whole roster of sound commands for you guys. That should be enough. Oh! Listen, if Disney wants to buy WWE, I know they'll focus more on the girlies because they love their princesses. So UFC can't say the same. I'm really focusing right now. Thank you, Jesus. They want a Monopoly. Do they own Monopoly? Nope, I think that's Ubisoft actually. No, they have Uno, sorry. Wrong board game. Person to get thrown off the tower. Remember they'd have those matches that were like something on a pole match. It's like, what? They did that a lot. They released a WWE Princess Wrestling game. Now I'm with that. Thank God I don't have red hair anymore, so I don't get compared to that bitch with the red hair all the time, Merida. That's all I would get. I was like, guys, please just stop. I love my blonde hair. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, that lady really fucked me over. She was like, hey girl, you want extensions? Yeah, it's actually $500 2 days later. Oh yeah, actually we want to charge you $2,000. Excuse me? How was your weekend? I streamed all weekend and yeah, so there wasn't really much of a weekend. I love that sometimes you guys are like, how are you doing today? I'm like, I saw you yesterday. I got up, I slept, like it hasn't been much. Kaisa! Hi, Angel baby. Oh my god, please. I got. Hi, baby. I'm putting on nails. Please excuse my dope ass swag. Pemdas. Hi, Kai. Welcome in. God, every time I say your name, I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Like I want to say like gaped. Not me calling you gaped on the live. Sorry. Sagittarius, welcome in. How was the stream? Kaisa, how you doing? I mean, thank God you say it right. I could say another drag name that, you know, we try to erase from history, but I won't do that to you. Dieter, thank you so much for coming in. We are about to watch the Ubisoft show. We're a little late, so because I decided to sleep in because the night before I was very hungover. So I was like, let me sleep in and like rot in my bed. Like so hungover. Enjoy your lurk. We're about to watch it ourselves. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate your presence. I hope we can hang out again soon or do something. It's been so long. It's been so long. I love a good rot. We're so close to getting these nails on. I hate press-ons. I'd rather just fuck up my cuticles. I'm interested to see how different the streams in Australia will be. I wonder like how either I'm just like interested to see like how I'll be able to keep up. Like what is gonna be constant there. Yes, everybody, if you want to play bingo with us, we have bingo cards for today's stream. We're going to start doing it from now on going forward. You can go to that link and it'll generate you a bingo card. And I think I'm going to start doing, so whoever gets bingo, I'm going to order like a batch of stickers for all of our merch. And I'll send you some stickers if you get bingo and show me your card. I'll do like a couple of people that win bingo, but I'm not sure how we'll draw that, but that could be a cute idea. Sorry, hold on one second. Let me clean up this disaster so my OCD ass doesn't freak out. Oh, there go my dogs. Five or more space games? I thought I did. I do. Right here. Lily, I literally think you're blind, bitch. Girl, everybody else has it. Everybody has a different bingo card, bitch. That's bingo. What do you mean, what row? Have you never played bingo, bitch? Girl. You are so... I'm dead. Okay, let's switch over there. Let's turn off the copyright-free music for a couple minutes so they don't gag me. Oh fuck, I got rid of the stream. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. Not this immersive Assassin's Creed. Hi, Pump. Sorry, I'm setting everything up, so give me 2 seconds and I'll be able to get your messages.
Reported that the game was boring and there was
amount of vegetation using
Not them starting the stream 2 hours before. Is it that serious? Oh, I skipped into the show. Oopsie. Where is this asset? Oh god, I really need to get glasses. This is not the one. No. 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 Where are you? I know, the compilation of crotch kicking, like, relax. Shut up. Where is it? Oh, is it here? And it's like, nope. No. I have too many screens. I think we can establish that here. What the fuck? Where is it? Oh my god, like actually where... Oh, I know where it is. Right here. Guys, I did it. Congrats, question mark.
What's up, everyone? We're playing the Xdefiant beta. Thank you to you.
I'd been training for this.
The future? What the heck is this? I don't even know what to say. It's like bottoming out as I drive the thing.
Oh, right, that's a thing, I remember.
Did I hear him say bottoming out?
Really, we did? Oh my god!
Let's reach the goal and call it even. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, that's we started at
Thank
like
you so much.
13,000 something. So yeah,
Oh,
getting to
wow.
the 15 is insane. That's really insane.
I heard bottoming.
Everyone.
The show's about to begin. Get your snacks, get settled. Ready? Let's go!
Well, girl, it's not gonna start soon enough. Stop! We can't play this copyrighted music. Relax. Stop it. Now we can play that beautiful song. We have the rights to that. From Pink herself, she told me I have the rights to Scurvy. Looks very LGBT friendly though, we stand. The closest thing to Pride celebration we'll get. Why did that character kind of look like Detox? Well. That was Detox. Boots. Oh, we're doing a number. Oh, they're starting out with a number. You. Oh my god. Stan Luna. Wait, I think they're not great anymore, so never mind.
Jump on the dance floor, shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Jump on the dance floor. Shake it.
What are you talking about, Pride? Everyone here is straight. These people are straight. Why would you assume that, you guys? The trans, the gays. I like that they're all dressed up like the M&Ms. Miss in the green is giving. The bucket hat, like, I don't know, that's a little too much for me. Oh, Miss Kim Possible in the jeans, you better. If this gets muted, you know why. Are we watching the right show?
Jump on the dance floor, shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Jump on the dance floor.
That was so magical. Everyone is so creative. I forgot that Ubisoft makes Just Dance. Well, at least they got it out of the way. At least they got the Just Dance out of the way. You know what I mean? Oh, look, massive. Oh. Oh wait, this is the Avatar game. This looks very lovely. Would I bring back Blue Nem for this? Just kidding, I don't think I'll ever bring her back. I think she's actually dead.
The RDA's greed poisoned our world.
Are we not playing Just Dance on release? Unless someone gives it to me, I will not. I'm not spending $60 for that.
Everything from us.
I don't think this is the Avatar game, you guys. Oh, it is.
I was trained in
I was like
their
robots.
ways, their technology, their weapons. Things that a Navi should not know.
Subathon goal.
And then one day, they left.
Hell's Gate is under attack.
Yeah, I think this is our first look at like any gameplay. Because we haven't seen any gameplay, we've only heard
They did, our
about
teacher
it.
saved us and put us to sleep.
This is your only chance to survive.
And there I remained for 15 years.
So,
Until
the
one
Avatar
day-
movies are notoriously known for being very long. How long do you think this game is gonna be? Could you imagine? This game takes you 7.5 years to finish. Does that count as a cute cat sighting? You mean the Avatar, like, race? Race? Trans?
Free to decide who I was going to be.
Oh, perfect. A nice 170 hours. Oh, okay, wow. And the first dungeon being like 50 of those hours. Girl, I could never beat Persona. 50 hours in the first dungeon. I'm like, girl, I'm out. I can't. Okay, but my question is this. Can we fuck? Can the avatars
Now
fuck?
Pandora is under attack again.
Don't let the Na'vi get in our way. Get rid of them.
And I have a choice to make. I choose to protect my home.
My bad, you guys. I was making sure the volume was good because it sounds like my microphone is louder. Is my microphone good? Do I need to turn it down?
I was a child of two worlds. I am no longer.
If they fuck a red avatar, they could become the purple avatar.
Navi.
Girl, if I fucked an avatar, that baby would come out looking a mess. Because it would be mixing, like, my trashy trans personality and my monster addiction, and that baby would be so messy.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Jim Cameron, the creator of Avatar and
I thought he was about
Avatar:
to
The
say
Way
Jim
of
Carrey.
Water.
I was like, you're not Jim Carrey.
Developing both of these
Relax.
films, I set out to imagine another world, a world as rich and complex as our own. And we wanted the audience to feel as though they were really on Pandora, to dream with their eyes wide open. And to
Would it have a blue
explore this
lip?
world
Absolutely not. My
with our
baby,
characters.
never wearing a blue
And
lip.
it's always
Or a
been our
yellow
vision
lip?
to embrace technology
If my baby wears
to
a yellow
allow us
lip,
to
I'm
find
kicking her
new
out of the
ways
house.
outside the cinema to immerse people in
No.
this world. Our friends at Ubisoft share the same ambition, and the team at Massive have been pushing the boundaries of what's possible in games to bring a new corner of Pandora to life.
Too far.
So with Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, our creative team at Lightstorm has been able to share their insights with Massive's talented team, who are experts in creating living, open worlds. Together, we'll be able to bring players to the Western frontier with new environments, new flora and fauna, and new characters. And
That's
an
really
original story that
interesting.
coexists with the events of the Avatar films. We can't wait for you to join this adventure, and we look forward to welcoming you back to the world of Avatar once again. We can't wait for you
Tech
to
issue.
join this adventure, and we look forward to welcoming you back
Tech
to the
issue, put it
world
on the
of
bingo
Avatar
card.
once again.
Tech issue, put it on. That's a bingo spot. Ding!
Hello, everyone. My name is Dieter Deenfeld, and as the game director, I'm proud to be representing the team behind Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora today, and excited to share a sneak peek of what we've been working on. In this all-new story, you'll set out on a journey of discovery to unravel the
Okay, but you can mark this off as also inclusion. This is a woman presenting. We stand. Not a cishet white guy.
Or together with your trusted banshee in the air.
Does this count as a space game? No, I wouldn't say so. Space games are like the average, like rocket ships, jetpacks, like the thing over the face. Like, this doesn't give me space. I don't know.
Touch and interact with it using your size, your superhuman
touch it.
Your natural
Touch it. Touch it. Touch it.
The Navi say,
you guys really think this is a space game?
Challenge on December 7th.
I don't think so.
Until then, we're delighted to show you a glimpse of this adventure.
Oh, it is like Pandora.
Immerse yourselves in the beauty and the danger.
Oh, no, everybody fix your bingos. This is not space though, Boots. I mean, it's like kind of like on the fence. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see right here with the trailer.
Welcome to Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
The volume.
First-person action-adventure game that invites you to explore the engaging world of Avatar in an immersive open-world experience. I'm Didi Dienfeld, game director, and I'm excited to reveal what's waiting for you on
This gives me more fantasy than space, in my opinion. Am I wrong for saying that?
Reparations to the Western frontier. John Mercer, one of the leaders of the RDA, abducts you and other Navi children from your home to teach
You're never
you the ways
wrong.
of humans,
Thank you,
hoping to
baby.
mold you and turn you against your own
When I
people.
mean space game, like I mean like rocket ships, like grayscale. But I mean not using this as an example, but like grayscale. We're in spaceship, like
Years later, you are a stranger
you know.
in your birthplace. Knowing the dangers posed by the RDA, you set out to take them down and look to secure the help of other Navi clans.
I was like, girl,
you're perceived as
please
an outsider,
don't confuse
so
the
you have to
audience.
reconnect with your lost Navi heritage to gain their trust. On your adventure, you'll find your own path as you discover what it means to be Navi. You'll explore
Thank you,
new
Cammy.
regions of Pandora, each with their own unique biomes. The Kinglor Forest
Not car
is a
truck
lush
game check.
rainforest brimming with life and dense vegetation in the shade of
Hello, Ben.
awe-inspiring floating mountains. This is the home of the Aranahe. a
Oh look,
clan
third
of
person.
peaceful
It's a mix of both, I
weavers who will
think.
guide you on your first hunt and on your first flight. The Aranahe will show you the way to the Rookery, where you can bond for life with your very own Ikram. The Ikram is a devoted companion that you can name, feed, and customize. Experiment with acrobatics.
This looks pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't sit through all the movies, but I'd play the game Boots. Ubisoft, you need a trans girl to play your game?
If you travel north,
I'm your
you
girl.
get to the upper plains. An expansive
Give it to me for free. I'm not buying it.
filled with contrasts and open views as far as the eye can see. The nomadic Seswa clan live here in symbiosis
Pretty girls
with
don't buy video
gigantic
games.
beasts called Sakru.
It's just quite that simple.
Trust, and
Why
then
buy
you
anything
teach
in
the
life when you're
art of
pretty?
riding
I mean,
horses. And further
Ubisoft,
west,
you like girls?
the
You wanna fuck
mysterious
me?
crowded forest,
Who's topping?
where hidden in the
Me.
mist,
Ah.
nothing seems.
I watched the whole video the other day. So funny.
Of healers with their own dark reasons to stay hidden. RDA operations are threatening the balance of Pandora. They build facilities of all
Look, it's like a
sizes to
difference of
exploit
it goes from like
resources
first
at any cost,
person to like
spreading devastating
third
pollution.
person. That's crazy.
In the process, animals are hurt and poached.
I guess you could mark this down as
You
FPS.
need to stop the RDA from ravaging your
That's
home.
1 FPS.
And when you are ready, you will take the fight to them. As a child of two worlds, you
Oh
can
wow.
learn to master
Oh, did you see
multiple
that with the
combat
wheel and the
styles.
guns?
Your powerful instincts allow you to get an overview of the battlefield.
Oh,
mark
def and
your
FPS
enemies,
then.
And identify weak points. Traditional Navi weapons are versatile and precise. You can use the longbow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want to use an assault rifle. I want to use like the traditional weapons because those seem like mystical and magical and fierce. I don't want to use a fucking pistol. Girl, we're playing Avatar. I'm not playing Call of Duty.
Or go bigger with the occasional rocket launcher. On foot, You can also rely
Give that
on
rocket launcher back to
incredible
Sheva.
strength to take down amp units. Above the clouds, your
See, look,
Econ
third
will help
person.
you with
That's
aerial
crazy.
combat against the RDA. Destroying RDA facilities will have a tangible impact on your world. With the
I like the
pollution
mix.
removed, Pandora heals.
Pandora box?
You will be able to harvest the best quality.
Oh, she's
material
booked in
in.
Blast after not
Craft
winning a
better
challenge
gear
in
and
all
weapons.
3 of her seasons.
You will also
Sorry, that
find
was
new
just
ways
rude.
to cook and make meals to get stronger. As you keep discovering what it truly means to become Navi, you'll improve your skills by connecting to Awa through the Tarshu plant and learn from the memories of your ancestors.
That's the
Skill
Disney
upgrades
ride
can
boots.
improve many aspects of your character.
I wanna go to
such as your
Disney.
natural agility to move through the world, your stealth approach when
Who wants to book
hunting
me a
and
flight to
fighting,
Disney?
or the handling of your weapons and mounts.
You like girls?
Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is a captivating action-adventure game designed to maximize the power of new-gen consoles and PC. You will be able to play the full story campaign in single-player or with a friend online in 2-player co-op. We invite you to explore this world of wonder.
This game better be good because Avatar pulled a lot of money in their first movie. Isn't it like the highest grossing movie that has ever like hit the box office? Like, didn't they make like billions of dollars? They better put that budget into this game, bitch. You better put your whole budget bussy into this game. At the time, gotcha. So you're saying it's a flop. So you're saying you don't like the Avatar. So you're saying you don't like Pandora Box. December 7th this year, damn, okay. I'm shocked. Oh, tech issue. If you didn't mark it down again. Girl, it's gonna be so loud when it turns on. Also, I can't with all these straight guys they're showing off with their no cam fucking, like, no effort in their streams. Like, no cam, no green screen, on the side of the monitor, their name tag and their sub count goal that's an Arial font, default text. Like, where is the originality? Where is the fun? Where is the greatness? Look! Can y'all book one of my girls, or can you book an LGBT member? This just smells like crunchy panties. Like, this is bad. Why you have all these straight het guys up here? Cis het guys. Do better. Book Kylie. Where is Kylie at? Kylie Gabor? Apex Extraordinaire. Are they showing Apex? They're showing Call of Duty. Boots. Oh. Never mind.
Hello, everyone. Hello,
My point still
hello.
stands. You can book some other girls.
Executive producer on Xdefiant.
That was male dominated. Yeah, mark that the fuck down.
Reactions from players streaming our game during our closed beta test in April. And we've been absolutely overwhelmed by the amazing.
You picked all cis white het guys for your beta test?
Now, for us, community has really been the core.
That's really
of this game's
interesting.
development. And we've had 28 public tests so far, with the recent closed beta being the largest, and of course, the first with no NDA. And throughout all of these tests, we've done our best to listen and respond to the feedback of players. So thank you so much to the more than 1.5 million players who have participated in those tests.
Half
And
a
the
million?
countless creators and streamers
So we're using
who
bots.
shared their footage and feedback about Xdefiant. Now we're ready to look towards the future. We are currently planning on launching later this summer. But before we do that, we will be holding another test to address some of the feedback from the closed beta. This open session.
Can I give you some
will be
feedback?
available to everyone on
You need to
PC,
book some girls to play your fucking beta and
Xbox
show in your
Series
trailers,
X,
sir.
from
You just
June
showed me the
21st
same fucking
to
white
June
guy,
23rd.
white cis het guy
It's a short
on
test.
repeat.
But we are
all of them with the same uncropped fucking camera, their LED lights in the back, their headphones over their head making a dent in their skull, and their Arial font with their sub count on the right side of their fucking screen. Get fucking real.
About what's going to happen.
Where's the character?
Later this summer. We will start with a 6-week preseason.
Can you not come for my stream, damn, please?
14 maps.
Well, you're entertaining. I know those guys aren't fucking entertaining, bitch.
Much more. We then move into our year 1 content schedule, which is packed with some really exciting content.
That'll never happen to you, doll. Never. That's an obscure Delta Work reference. When Delta Work played Cher on Snatch Game and she wasn't understanding any of the puns RuPaul was giving her.
All inspired by
she was like, she shakes with age. And then RuPaul goes, that'll never happen to you, Cher. And then Delta goes, never. That'll never happen. Never.
Great gameplay content, all focused on creating a fun arcade FPS experience. And we are committed to staying true to our community and to strive
not
to
me
make
being like, give me your Avatar
the
game
best
for free and then shitting on the rest of the show. Oh.
Now, it's been quite the journey to get to this point. So thank you again to all of the players that supported Xdefiant so far. And for everyone who hasn't yet had the chance, we hope to see you in game soon. Thank you.
Are you guys okay with all these tech issues? There's been one every segment. Three or more tech issues. Are they good? Okay. We saw this 3 days ago. Oh, roll that beautiful. Roll that beautiful. We've seen this footage before. Check mark. We've seen this. You can mark that on your bingo card. I don't understand why they don't troubleshoot. It's like, this is important.
Hi everyone, it's so exciting to be with you today. About 30 years ago, in 1989,
hot game dev,
I discovered a great
in my opinion
adventure game, both challenging my skills and respecting
He's
my
hot,
limits.
I don't know.
It was Prince of Persia. I am Muniradi, game director of
Ooh,
Prince
and
of
I love
Persia.
the way he talks. Like, ooh, talk like that into my ass.
Time has come to open a
Sorry.
new chapter.
Who said that? Like, why would you like the girl? You like girls? Do you like the girls?
Those immortals were ruled by the laws of gods. You are Sargon.
Oh my god, that guy in the game is hot too.
The youngest member of a squad of 7 elite warriors, the Immortals. One night, Prince Hassan, sole heir to the throne, is abducted and taken to her hostile and cursed land, Mount Kaf. You and your brothers in arms are sent on a rescue mission.
I thought he said bosom. I went, oh, me and my
However,
bosom?
this assignment will cast you straight into the lion's den. And
Straight?
it is here that you, Sargon, and the whole kingdom must prepare to face the greatest threat of your lives. This is your story. In Mount Kaf, your destiny awaits.
Thank you so much. Do you need help with anything?
When entering Mount Kaf, your mission is clear.
Ooh,
Find
that girl in the back with the
Hassan
red hair
and
is
bring her back to
gorgeous.
Persepolis.
I love that red hair on her
However,
skin. Are you
Mount
serious?
Kaf
That was so
becomes a prison
pretty.
full of hostile inhabitants.
They need to do that more.
Now separated from your allies, you discover a grand citadel full of mysteries, where time flows differently.
My closest bingos mean we need 5 space games.
The past.
Yeah, guys, send in the Discord when you fill your bingo cards out or after. I'll make like a separate channel for like bingo cards, and then I'll eventually I'll like send out stickers or something if you guys want them after getting bingo.
New secrets.
I haven't ordered them, and I'm going to Australia, so it'll have to wait until next month, but
to reach new areas, you have to master your skills and your sense of timing. A trademark of Prince of Persia. During this epic journey, you won't be the only one trapped in Mount Calf.
Goddess and blacksmith to the gods.
you can post it on like Twitter or Instagram too. Just tag me in it.
While others are more reluctant.
I should start writing down what the bingo card is. Hold on.
The Sargon is a swordsman like no other. He is a fierce warrior, known for being
I was caught.
ruthless and extremely skillful on the battlefield.
Humming, thank you so much for the follow.
Fueled by anger, he constantly puts his life on the line to perform devastating attacks. Time powers are back. But this time,
What the hell was that?
not only in your hands.
The one person heckling in the crowd.
Master a new side of his time powers. And defy
So
gravity.
tell us a joke.
By combining all
Yeah,
these skills
I'm not really
together,
thrilled. It looks
you can
good. Like, I
express
would
your
watch somebody play
creativity
it. I wouldn't play it myself.
to solve
Does he like
Montag's
girls?
mysteries
Oh, hold on.
and execute brutal combos in epic combat.
Ubisoft. Oh my god, the drama right now with Kahana and Heidi. I'm like, Kahana got on the live and cried. I went, oh my god, she is really emotional right now. I went, oh.
And that's just a glimpse of what Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is all about. I'd like to thank Mentrix, who composed.
I just don't understand like where it's coming
you are
from.
Just listening to, and of course, my fantastic team at Ubisoft Montpellier. We cannot wait for you to get your hands on the game. It releases on January 18, 2024 on all platforms. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, Nemesis burps! I forgot about that was a bingo check. Herb.
Hi. My name is Adi Shankar. I'm a TV and movie producer. You may know me from the Castlevania animated series on Netflix.
Stick to the script. Find the notes.
Or one of my fan fiction shorts on YouTube.
The crickets?
7 years ago, I got a call from Ubisoft offering me
Ubisoft?
the opportunity to adapt one of their very, very, very serious franchises into an anime. But instead, I came back to them with a crazy concept inspired by the mood of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Yeah. This concept used Ubisoft's vast library of characters
Ubisoft!
and remixed them
Ubisoft!
into one delirious anime series that would become this love letter to the 90s. Or at least how I remember the 90s. And to my absolute surprise, Ubisoft said no.
The added laugh track. I'll give you some applause.
Just kidding. They said yes. That's why I'm up here.
That was a long way for a joke.
This is the story of how the first anime series by Ubisoft was born.
Ubisoft!
A Blood Dragon remix.
Is that how you pronounce it, or am I been saying it the wrong the entire time? I thought it was Ubisoft.
It's violent.
Ubi.
It's a dystopian
not
fiction
UB.
in the spirit of the works of all the
not
UB
soft.
It's dark comedy.
It's Ubisoft.
It's a love story. And as a descendant of Indian mystics, yeah, I can tell you it's the most philosophically conscious
Oh wait, I have double boobs happening right now. Hold on.
show you've watched in a long time. The series was picked up by Netflix. It was animated by the renegade genius pirates at Bobby Pill's studio.
Girl, can you hurry up?
And today,
Cut his mic. Can we get to the game? This is a long way to go. It's not even a game, it's a show. You want to be Arcane so bad.
Worldwide later this year. And that's not all. I'm even more excited to share with you an action-packed, Easter egg-filled teaser trailer right now.
I don't count this as a cringe skit, by the way. Don't mark that on your bingos. That wasn't really skit. That was just him being a bad presenter.
You want to be entertained, don't
in a bad outfit. That's like saying I'm doing a cringe skit right now because I'm sitting here at drags. Shut up, bitch.
Join the revolution.
Was that Beast Boy?
Let's do this.
It's not Beast Boy. That was a long way to go for a trailer. Oh, FPS number 2. I don't think anything can be as bad as the Devolver and the PC game show. That PC game show was actually one of the worst things I've ever seen. 2 hours of overhead MOBA. I'm like, ooh. With the skit. Oh. Girl. This is boring me.
Are you hyping for a miracle?
Oh, see me yawn? That's how bored I was. That was FPS 2.
Hey everyone, it's an honor for us to be here with you today. We're home free, and this is our song Skull and Bones.
Excuse me? Who is that deep in their throat right now? Hold up. Who is singing right now that deep? Oh, that guy on the far left is that deep. How does he go that deep in his throat? Well, I've had a few husbands.
Outcast a kingpin was born upon the sea. There was meant
oh,
to
find the
walk
notes,
land,
girl.
life for me.
A little pitchy.
You winding up the sails, don't speak to mutiny. Find yourself a wanton quarter bottom of the sea. Among the shores of St. Anne to the eastern shores. I'll take my chances on the wind to loot and plunder scores. Flag it stands for us alone.
Okay, the man on the far left doing the throat work. Oh, we give some applause for the throat work. I don't know if we need to celebrate him that much because I do that every other weekend in the alleyway. Some gorgeous throat work.
Bring her out.
Thank you, Oscar.
A pirate's life for me I found. A pirate's life for me I found. Yo ho, the seas forever go. Yo ho, the winds forever go. After I'm a day.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're singing. Not even close to medieval. Your hole, your hole, your hole, your hole, your hole. Real. Now that's a good song. I know that one. Speaking of, where are the poppers? I'm literally only seated for Rayman, and I know Rayman isn't coming. I don't need the... If you spoil whatever's in this show in chat, you will be banned. I don't need to know if it actually got announced or not. But I already know it probably didn't. So it's just... That's the only reason why I'm watching. Oh, that's a cute DLC. Why did they show that in the B-roll? The Jet Set Radio, like I would have liked to see that more in depth. And Brawlhalla, like all of this stuff I would like to see in depth. Oh, Rabbids. Final DLC with Rayman coming 2023. Damn. That's the closest thing to Rayman we'll get. That makes me upset. God, I just... Maybe 2024 we'll get a new Rayman? So sad. Rayman has to be one of my new favorite game, like not favorite, it has to be one of my favorite games of all time. It makes me upset. that he's like not getting new gen presents. Was there a release date? Fall 2023. And then the Rabbids one was end of 2023. No gameplay trailer, but open-ended release. Well, that was DLC, the Rayman one. Are you talking about the pirate one? I thought the pirate one had gameplay. Oh, well, guys, we haven't seen the full trailer yet. No, the Rabbids one is already a game.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. 5 years ago, the Crew 2 took off. Now, each month,
have you ever driven a car before? No.
Just like you.
Well, yes, but I don't want to do it ever again.
Eager to see what's next. I am Stéphane Bollet, Creative Director of the Crew. Thanks. Hey. Today, at last, it is my pleasure to introduce the future of the Crew, Motorfest, our own new take on the action-driving genre. Breathtaking ride with one of the most diverse lineups ever, from past, present, and future. Recognize the latest from Lamborghini? I think so, yeah, I know. You are as thrilled as I am to get behind the wheel of this beauty.
Thrilled as I am? You don't sound thrilled. I'm not thrilled. Nobody's thrilled.
I spent a lot of energy building the perfect vehicle collection in the Crew 2. In a few weeks, you will be able to import your vehicle collection into the Crew Motorfest. Wow,
I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Thanks.
Wow.
So stay tuned for more news about the collection import and our complete festival program later this month during our summer festival. Since the beginning of the year, thousands of players have tested the game and given us priceless feedback through the Insider program. Join the party.
Girl, you're boring the shit out of me. Shut up. See, look, this says in-engine game footage, so there was footage. Not that it's great footage. Also, the audio dropped again. Like, can y'all... It's not that hard to, like, do a test stream before starting. Especially at the largest, one of the largest events of the summer. This is just my tea. Sometimes I do it. I make a burner account. Just make a burner account. That was indeed a car game. It sure was. I don't think. No skit. No skits. You should be at 2 FPS games, hot game dev, tech issues, inclusive women, and then no women, and then Nemesis burps,
I hope you enjoyed that
and then a
first
car
look
game.
at this exciting new way to play Assassin's Creed. Coming to MetaQuest this holiday, Assassin's Creed Nexus will push the boundaries of VR.
Hot
and
game
let
dev
you become
again.
The assassin.
Oh,
will
you like
feel
girls?
What it means to parkour, fight, and be stealthy in new memories from 3
Oh, and scene
legendary
footage,
assassins.
yes.
Ezio, Cassandra, and Connor. I cannot wait.
Just hard for me to
our
keep track,
players
but also
feel
do
the
this.
thrill of virtual reality in the Assassin's Creed universe. But there is more.
We're still working out the
Nexus
kinks of
is not the
bingo
only
here, but
game
it is a good
that will
idea
offer
to do
new
for
ways
these
to play
streams.
Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Codename Jade is our first open-world RPG game on mobile. It will take you to ancient China in a time of intrigue and conspiracy. In this brand new adventure, you'll experience the iconic Assassin's
That's what I
Creed
was thinking. I was like, does it count as medieval or like?
anytime. I am glad to announce
does
that you
it?
can register now for the upcoming beta. Here's a
I just like see Assassin's Creed as its own category, not even medieval. Like same with Avatar. It's like some of these games are like those categories for me are like B-roll of those categories. You know what I mean? Like that average run of the
It's
mill.
honoring those that came before us, learning from their triumphs and mistakes, to illuminate and hold their stories to the light for all.
Do you guys
to
really
see.
think it is?
That inheritance from
I don't
knowledge
see Assassin's Creed
helps
as
to
medieval
guide and shape
though.
our future. Now it's your turn.
When I think of medieval, I think of
build on
hokey
those
pokey. We're going to
even
the.
greater heights. To step out of the shadows and into a vast.
We're gonna
world.
pour the bucket in the water
your
and
own
fight
place.
with the swords and the. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like historically accurate, not medieval. Yeah, it's like the gray area. Yeah, dragon fighting, like Skyrim. I don't mean to categorize every game for this game of bingo, but I'm just saying. When I wrote those bullet points, I wrote it as if like we were watching the show yesterday, the PC game show, and like all the other shows, and we get B-roll footage and not like AAA titles. Like I feel like Avatar, Assassin's Creed, Rayman, like those are like on their own caliber. Not like
Mirage is a
typical.
very special
What is that one game we saw 4 times in
Designed
4
as an homage
days?
to the first titles of
That
the
one
series
game.
that
I don't
many
even know
of
the
us
name of the game, and we saw it 4 fucking times.
Coming October 12th.
Something
Assassin's
Quest,
Creed Mirage took the
Warhaven.
franchise
Yes,
back to its roots.
that is what I
Sarah,
put in the
our
category
narrative
of
director
like
for the game, will
medieval
come on stage to tell you
war,
more about Basim
silly
and his
shit.
journey. But before that, let's watch our story trailer.
Oh, this is a mobile game. Very unserious. The website I used to make the bingo too, it also gave me options to like put in more than just the 5x5. So I think I could put in other options that we don't have and like it'll randomize it. So we can make more bullet points. Here, I'm gonna make a thing in the Discord for bingo cards that everybody has so we can spam the images there. And then like stuff like that, so we don't like fill up some server in the Discord by accident. All these audio issues, I can't. There's like a calendar emoji. Let me find it. If anybody's in the Discord, can you see the bingo channel? Or do I have to make it the whole thing? Cute. Are we gonna hear the game? What is with all these tech issues? I didn't think we're gonna get 4 or 5 tech issues in one stream. Like, damn. Are y'all good? Is everything okay at home? No! It's still you see the volume right here. Like, what? This is insane. Bingo. I have to fix the emoji thing with the bingo, but whatever. It's just there so we can... Oh, women! We love women! Not that dress with those boots,
What
though.
does it mean to be free?
Get rid of those.
What must be sacrificed in the quest for freedom and justice the hidden ones fiercely pursue? How can you find your path and fulfill your destiny when you don't know who you really are? As he grows from street thief to master assassin, Basim thinks he has found
She's wearing like a mustard yellow
one,
boot with a blue
working in
dress
the
and a
dark
red
to
lip.
serve
What
the
is this
light.
primary colors
But his
ass?
nightmarish visions
Sorry.
keep haunting him,
Jesus.
leading to more questions with no answer. In Baghdad, seeking the truth comes with a price. The capital of the Abbasid Empire, one of the richest, most diverse, and most advanced cities in the
It
world,
is the mobile
at a
game
turning
still.
point of its history.
I think.
Unrest is growing, seeding a revolution against corruption and arbitrary justice.
She
Uprising
sounds
that
so
will turn
excited.
the tides of history and change the
Mirage.
lives of everyone. Childhood
Michelle.
friends, fellow hidden
Mirage.
ones, as well as newly formed allies and enemies will shape Basim's adventure. But his horrific visions are the face of a struggle that he can only handle alone. There is a lot to look forward to in Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the best way to make you understand our unique Back to the Roots experience is to show you the game. In the following gameplay walkthrough, we meet Basim right after the assassination of his first main target, as he reports back to Roshan in Harbiya's assassin bureau. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Woo! Oh my god, the tech issues, girl. So now the game is really loud. Okay. We've seen this before. We saw this at the State of Play.
There you are.
You just did that in the middle of town. What is your problem?
Don't let him escape! Time to vanish.
I thought these games were about being stealthy, and he just killed some guy in cold blood in front of everybody. Ooh, I would love Chinese food. Can you just get me like a night? I want like just really sticky white rice, and then maybe like, ooh, maybe some, so maybe edamames and ooh, do they do French fries at your Chinese food place? Because when Chinese food is made, they make French fries. Sometimes they'll make it in the same fry later as their other food, and it just tastes good. Ooh, sorry, I'm now getting hungry. Now I'm like, fuck. Oh my god, crab ragoon. Oh, I could do that. I want actually sushi. Can we go get sushi instead, not Chinese food? Wait, can you order sushi at Chinese food places? I've never ordered from like, I've never called in. So, I know there's some separate places that you can get predominantly sushi.
We should only hope. There's still much.
And then there's some place, like one place I do, it does like, because I just started eating sushi, so I'm just finding this in my adult life. It's called in Boston, it's called Ichiban, and Ichiban does And
Rebecca have arrived from Alamut, and
they do like regular like appetizers. I was trying to find the word. They do appetizers, like regular like Americanized appetizers, and then they do like everything you could think of, like chicken tenders, fried shrimp, like everything. Then they do like sushi, and then they do Chinese food. Their menu is the longest menu I've ever seen in my life. If you can, go to Ichiban. It's such a good like food place. It's so good. No, literally, I'm starving. Oh, I'm starving. Oh.
My thanks, Abu Ja'far.
Usually the restaurant will focus on being a sushi restaurant. That's what I thought. I like literally, I've never like actually like called in and ordered. I've only like looked on the Uber Eats setting of like Googling sushi and then just getting the sushi, or going to like a grocery store and then they have sushi there. So I don't know how to order it. Let's just say that. But I love sushi and it's really good for you.
This is the place. What do you see, Enkidu? Let us reconsider the approach.
Anyone in the chat from Australia? That might be an obscure reference, but how the fuck am I gonna get these monsters while I'm staying a month in Australia? Because if I don't have these fucking monsters for the goddamn month I'm in Australia, I'm going to have a meltdown and I will be very unstable. I have an addiction.
Act as usual.
That guard who likes me said she and Ali's
Asking for a friend, what's your favorite sushi roll? That's hard because I'm still trying different ones. They have monsters, but they don't have the one I like, the Rehab. It's like the tea version. This is, I think, is very Americanized. Favorite sushi roll? I'm gonna be a basic bitch and say a California roll, but I did try it was like a fried crab something roll and I liked it. I like a lot of seafood, so like I'm like anything fried and rolled into something with rice and in the fryer, I'm like, give me it now. Yeah, if you can't tell, I don't know what I'm ordering. I'm just kind of ordering whatever looks nice and then being like, okay, that looks yummy, and then calling it a day. Why are you going to Australia for a month? Vacation or work? Just, I want to see the world. I don't want to be locked in I'm turning 25 in a couple months, and I want to see the world.
The sky is safe.
So I got my passport, and I'm gonna go to Australia.
Survey the area, Enkidu. There is my target.
But I'll be streaming on the weekends. And like anytime I can. Because the person I'm staying with, he has to go to work. He's our mod evacuation guy. So when he goes to work, I'll try to stream as much as I can. But I'm struggling to find a laptop because every fucking place keeps denying my credit. So I'm really trying to get a laptop. And if you want to donate to help me get a laptop for my month trip, then, you know. Or if you want to send me your laptop so I can use it for a month. If my sister doesn't let me use her laptop, I'm fucked. I just fixed her PC so she could play fucking Sims. She better let me use it. I'm like, girl, you can come down here and play on my 3 monitors if you need. Because I really need that fucking laptop. Because my mom has a Chromebook, but you can't install OBS on a fucking Chromebook. You have to, like, do the Da Vinci Code to, like, hack a Chromebook. I just don't have that much money because all the companies I'm doing are taking forever to pay me.
Come on.
gonna be fully serious to you. I would be interested in this, and I would actually be really excited for this if it was a female protagonist. Do you put late fees in your contracts? No, but I should. That's actually really smart. I'll DM you about it, Lily. It's ridiculous.
Hello, everyone. So first, I want to start by saying thank you.
I'm on a net 60 and this fucking company hasn't built me my 60. It's like net almost 90 now. I'm still waiting.
The art of everything we do. And to all Ubisoft teams around the world as well, I would like to say a big thank you.
That's actually a really good tip. I'm gonna write that down.
Your talent and passion are at the foundation of this fantastic lineup. So I hope you are all excited.
Is he reading a
to explore
teleprompter?
the amazing playground you have seen today. At Ubisoft, we are creators of worlds. We are also proud to partner with some of the biggest names in entertainment to create original stories in beloved universes. Now, I am very happy to welcome Julian from Ubisoft Massive to give you a first look at Star Wars Outlook and gameplay. So thank you.
By taking on risky contracts and navigating complex relationships, all whilst avoiding oppressive imperial.
The audio mixing in this is terrible.
Nix's journey will take them across the galaxy through stunning, varied open-world locations and the wilds of space.
I would play this game just for this cute little baby. And no, this is not a cat sighting. I don't know how to tell you guys this, but that is not a cat. I repeat, that is not a cat. This is definitely space. This is Star Wars. This is Space Boots. Yeah, I think it's like an axolotl with like not in the water. The axolotl can do things. Oh, look at him go! If I could play as just the axolotl, game of the year. It's giving Batman, Arkham, and Spider-Man, but like Star Wars. Like how it's like over the head sneaky stealth and do missions. Kinda live. There's no way this is 2025. I think they said it's 2024. Oh, she just gagged. Two of hearts. Oh god. This is really impressive, honestly. Oh, that's so... I love that. Oh, is that the bike we get to use to get out of here? Okay, that's cunty. I kind of live. Never in my life would I expect myself to be excited for like a Star Wars game, but this is kind of cunty. I kind of live. Well done, mama. I wish they weren't having tech issues, because like the quality is like shit. Like I want to see it in HD graphics, you know? It's like I see like a lot of pixels on the screen. They're not running in 1080p, but it's whatever. Oh, can I put outfits on the Oxalotl? You know what's gonna be cunty too? If this comes out for PC, people are probably gonna mod it. So like you can probably play as anybody you want. So like I'm with it. I'm down. When I get to play as Jabba the Hutt, what then? When they mod it so I can play as Harley Quinn. Exactly. I want to play as Pandora Box. I'm glad you and our other two fans want to do that. Sorry. It's a joke. Me and C-3PO. I want to play as C-3PO in a bikini and a wig. A unit. I'm hungry. No, I just don't think they want to spoil it, so they're like muting the audio. Yeah, I think they were muting the audio on purpose. It's really not me. Hi, Maddie. I mean, I hear the jet engine right now. Are we shocked with a tech issue with this stream? Absolutely not. There's been like 20. They want to be Kingdom Hearts so bad. I don't know, girl. I'm kind of just hanging out, I guess. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know, Maddie. I thought that was a cat. I was like, oh. But again, not a cat. He's so cute. I literally want to play the game just for this baby. It actually looks really cunty. I think that'll be the first Star Wars game I ever play. I'm dead ass. That was a lot of gameplay for no release date. Oh, that's your show? The guy getting up to leave. Me AF. Oh, that's it? This ma'am in the front with this jacket is everything. Who is she? Is that Ember Moon? Why is Ember Moon there? Ho, 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 whoa, 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 whoa! Ember Moon to the front, please. What are you doing at the Ubisoft? Ariana, what are you doing here? That is what is happening? Not her being like, can I leave? Oh, wow. That's actually hilarious. Excuse me, Athena. Well, Athena's a streamer. Athena likes to stream. So if you're confused on who we're talking about, that's a former WWE superstar. She was one of the best. She's very athletic. She does the indie scene now. She was just the champion. I don't know if she's still the champion. She also does Twitch streams sometimes. But she's great. That's gaggy that she was there.
If a job she takes hurts the syndicate, those opportunities aren't available. So her choices play into.
So no Rayman. Okay.
How she experiences her.
We have 2 hours to the Capcom show. Well, let me fix up my screen until then.
Let us begin. I will transfer you to the combat zone. Brace yourselves for interdimensional travel. Interdimensional transfer complete. The war game will begin shortly. Have a super day. You will now engage in a dinosaur combat test. Exofighters, follow the Watcher.
Oh yeah, I want to see the Overwatch trailer. But where do I... What screen do I pull that up in? I guess I'll just do the Ubisoft. Overwatch 2 Season 5.
Everyone excited?
Shut up, Tracer. Sorry. That was just rude.
Everyone excited to play Role Heroes? Emily's been working on this campaign for ages.
I don't know, I was just being nasty. Giggles. Lesbian rights.
Do you have your characters ready?
Is that another Kiriko skin? I can't.
Shall we get started?
It goes to 11.
Oh, Lucio! Wait, we're gonna keep pausing. That Echo skin was really cute. Oh my god, look at her!
Shall we get started?
That's so cute. I love that. She's a slime. Oh my god, I love Lucio. He has one of my gold
Me
guns.
and fortune will follow.
Zenyatta getting one of the best skins again. Zenyatta has the best skins in the game. You guys can't even clock me on that.
I've never been more ready for
Oh wow, he looks sexy.
adventure.
Oh wow. Was that a Symmetra skin I saw in the back? Is that a Bumblebee?
My armor's in rough shape after that last fight.
Hi Marshy. Shit. But we're watching this now, so.
We still haven't had any random encounters. You rolled this time. My dice are cursed. I can't face the Demon Lord with rubbish gear.
Let me show you how it's done.
So boring. Can y'all give another character a skin besides Reinhardt, Genji, and Kiriko?
You can't stop me. Hammer down.
Look at me go! Tick, tick, boom! I know we defeated the Demon Lord, but can we keep playing?
I'm on fire. My ultimate is ready. I am unstoppable.
You are only human.
Time for mischief and magic.
Experience always wins in the end.
Everyone brought their sunscreen.
Oh, yeah! Bend it like Lucio.
So stupid. Nah. Honestly, kind of looks boring as fuck. The skins are nice, but what else is there? There was so much last season. This is literally a recolor of a skin they've already done. So we're getting lazy. This skin, he didn't need another skin. Sorry, Reinhardt means. He has plenty. There is a Symmetra skin and a Torbjorn skin. They barely show off.
For adventure.
What is this skin supposed to be for May? Oh, she's like an alchemist. Cute. But you already missed bingo, Maddie.
Face me.
Fortune will follow.
Also, wait. They didn't... I thought they said every other season they were gonna do. I thought they said every other season they were giving us a map, and then the next season they were doing a character, and then a map, and then a character. So we're lying? But when will the lies and deceit stop? I can't. They're such, like, okay, I know, like, game developers, like, kind of, like, lie and deceit a lot, but it needs to be studied how much they literally promise us and they never follow through with. It's actually, like, insane. This looks boring. And the theme is, like, a good theme. And they flopped. Winston Beach Volleyball. They didn't even show the Mercy skin they're doing. Did you see that there's a lifeguard Mercy skin they're coming out with? And they didn't even show it in this trailer. Like, what is their problem? Okay. Marshall, you're literally crazy. Stop. What do you mean we don't need support characters? There's like 3 support characters that are valid. You're literally being like a masked hot man right now. Stop.
Stabbing. Meanwhile, enemies move in dangerously erratic. The cap.
I don't know what to do. We have an hour and a half. Oh wait, they started
Online.
There's a new summer thing in Street Fighter. We're gonna go do it. Oh, sorry.